Hello and welcome to the incredibly influential and highly successful podcast. I'm incredibly influential.
And I'm highly successful.
It is Thursday, May 26th on the day of recording this. And if we're I I gotta say something before we get into like the comedic shit, so I'm sorry. It's gonna be a little bit depressing, but we gotta talk about Uvalde in Texas. That shooting that happened a couple days ago for us. It'll be a week when this goes up. But like, there's so many things wrong with the world right now, and I just want to say, uh, please do something to help them. Donate blood is one of the biggest things you can do. If you have universal donating blood, so like an O blood type, please go and donate. That's like one of the biggest things you can do. You can also donate to the some of the fundraisers that are helping them. Just make sure you do your research and make sure it's not like a scam or anything. But yeah, uh, w- with that out of the way, yeah, I just want to dedicate the podcast to those families, and yeah, I just hope you know you can never get that back, but I hope that you know that they someday can find peace, because what happened there is a tragedy, and it's yeah, it's terrible. I my co-host lives down in Texas, so I, how has this affected you, dude?
Well, I only briefly saw like an article on my phone about it. I didn't read into the article too much. It's not in my area. I think it said Uvalde or Oldave, Texas.
Uvalde. Yes,
Uvalde,
Uvalde.
yes, which is I'm not really sure what part of Texas it is. It's a very
It's
big
on the other
state.
side.
Um, Yeah, but that was a little shocking to hear. Again, I don't know all the details. I just know that it was pretty bad. It was a school thing, right? It was a school shooting.
Yes, in an elementary school.
Oh, an elementary school.
Yeah,
Really? Is it
it's
was it like a student shooter? I
he, the shooter. I'm not gonna say his name. No one should say his name. He should be
well,
fucking forgotten.
well, yeah, but I'm saying
Um.
like was it like a student? Was it like at the staff? Like what was
Uh.
the
It
relation?
it was a it was a guy who he had just turned 18 and he bought an AR-15 to he killed his grandmother, and then the cops were after him. So he crashed his car and went into a school, and he just wanted to do as much damage as possible, and thankfully the cops shot him. There's been a lot of talk about like, oh, the cops could have done better, and like, maybe they could have, but I'm just glad they fucking shot that bastard and they sent him to hell. I hope if there is an afterlife, he's in the fucking worst place. I hope he is tortured for the rest of his life,
I do have
or
to
for the
say,
rest of eternity.
I know that Texas is kind of known as like a gun crazy state.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this is a problem with like I think a lot of places in the U.S. and it has been for a while. I feel like they just need to do more thorough checks for these sort of things because it happens way too often in the United States, especially in the last few years.
Yeah.
And it's just sad
Uh.
that it keeps happening and nothing's really changing about it.
Yeah. I think everyone's heard everything. There's nothing new that can be said about this. Everyone's all like,
Mhm.
"Oh, Republicans aren't pro-life. They just want forced birth." Yeah, they know. They don't care. We need to stop you wasting our breath trying to convince them. They don't give a shit.
I
We're
notice
wasting our fucking time.
a lot of the problems that get solved have to do with how does it benefit those people in power, things about money, business, right? It's not really those small problems that affect everyday people. And it is a
Yeah.
little sad, right? And I do wish there was a little bit more speed when it came to rolling out changes that benefited the average everyday person, and their protection against shooters or these unjust laws and all that.
Well, the thing
But
is, we're never gonna get to that point. We are never going to get to a point in this country where you know there is no money in power. That's what happens. That's what happens in a republic. That's the problem with democracy. Representative democracy leads to things like this. And there's very little that we can fucking do about it. We're fucked. Representative democracy has fucking failed us.
I
And
have to
we
say
are
the idea for democracy and all that is good in theory, but there's so many things about that level of freedom that introduce the corruption, right? So that's why like other countries, you know, always see America, and they're just like, even though that's country's supposed to be great, they see all the problems, right? You hear
yeah.
people talking about, oh, I remember whenever Donald Trump became president, everyone was like, oh, I'm going to move to Canada, right?
hmm
It's like people are starting to see that America is maybe not as great as it's always said it is.
I think I think here's what's gonna happen is every time there's been a republic in all of the world, it gets turned into an empire. It gets turned into a dictatorship. It happened with the Romans. It happened with Napoleon. It happened in fucking fascist Italy and Germany. And I don't think it's not going to happen here. I think there's no way for democracy to last forever. I think democracy is. I'm reading a book on this, and uh, democracy is making us stupid. Democracy is making the average layperson an absolute moron. And I don't think there is any possible way that we will continue as a democracy. It, it, it makes us. It, we're unstable, we're weak, and we're uh, vulnerable to just any random fucking uprising in the people
I
because
think that
it's
the
yeah.
problem is how loosely the rules of democracy have been put in place, right? I feel like democracy in some way could work. It's just there's not enough restrictions that prevent that corruption, right? And again, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this, but I'm not very familiar with all of this. So this is just from what I know and what I think. But I think that it's just like I said, there's a little bit too much wiggle room in government right now. And maybe for a long time, that's let those people in power have a little bit too much freedom to move things in one way than they really should have. I know that's the whole
Mm-hmm.
point of like what checks and balances, right? They're supposed to
Yeah.
all work together to come to a solution that benefits everybody. But obviously, even that's not quite enough to prevent the corruption and the bias that we see in a lot of government.
I think the main thing we need to do in this country is we need to make holding public office terrible. We need to make it so that nobody wants to do it. That's the problem. Everybody and their mother wants to be fucking president. We need to make it so that being in a position of power in this country is the most miserable fucking thing that you can do. So that way, people will not accept all sorts of fucking money to stay in power, to take kickbacks and bribes from whatever fucking uh, big super PAC wants them in power. No, we need to make it so that they are miserable all the time,
It kind of
24/7.
reminds me about like school teachers, right? You see like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of school teachers and you can tell which ones are there for the passion and the civil service, I guess, right? And which ones are miserable and just there for like money, or it's like just like their job, right? And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
we need that sort of like passion, especially if you're going to be in a position of power like that, right? A lot of people I feel like are more on the side of what that position of power can give to them instead of what they can give to other people with that position of power. You know what I mean?
I think this country is fucking soft. I think that's what the problem is. There
Well,
there's
that
an
is
old
part of the
parable.
problem.
There's an old parable about holding a position of power. It's
Hmm.
called the sword of Damocles. And
Oh, I, I've heard of this. I'm not too familiar with it, but where is this from? Sword of Damocles? That sounds familiar.
the old story goes that Damocles was pandering to Dionysius, the king,
Okay, so it's
and
Greek. Okay.
yes, and he
Okay.
was
Okay.
saying that uh, Dionysius was, the king among kings. He was truly without without an equal. And Dionysius says, uh, how about we switch places for a day, and you can sit on the throne, And so he's like, oh hell yeah, I want to be king. And then he sits on the throne, and then he looks up and he sees a sword hanging above the throne, tip pointed down, held by a single horse hair.
Hmm.
And it's like, you've got all the fortune, you've got all the power, but there are dangers of being, king. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown, right? From Henry
Hmm.
II. That's Shakespeare. I'm mixing references here, but that is that's something that politicians in this country don't have. There is zero, like, danger or accountability. No one's ever going to send a fucking politician to jail. No one. No one is going to send a politician in America to jail. No one. No, they're not going to suffer. They will not suffer. And because of that, they think they can get away with anything. You know what happened in the French Revolution? You know what happened in the fucking French Revolution
I
when
think
people
they
didn't.
beheaded the royalty, didn't they? She said something like "let them eat cake," and then that set them off, right? I believe
They
that's French
beheaded a
Revolution.
hell of a lot more than the royalty. They
Well,
beheaded a
well,
hell of a
they
lot more than the royalty.
well, I know they beheaded more, but I remember it was she taunted them
No,
and
no.
they
Let me.
responded, or something like that, right? Something
No,
similar.
no,
That's part of it,
not
though,
at all.
right? It's part of
Not
it.
at all. Not at all. Here,
Isn't
here.
that the quote that she says though?
No, that didn't even happen. That didn't
Where's
even
that quote from,
happen.
though? I'm pretty sure
It
that.
didn't happen. It's not a
Then,
real quote.
then
It's
why?
misquote.
Okay, then what's the real
She never
quote?
said that. She never said anything like that.
Really? Am I?
They made up things to be mad about and then got mad at her for it. They
Oh,
did the Twitter thing. They did the Twitter thing where they invent a
wow.
guy to be mad at and then they get mad at them. It's yeah.
So she didn't
It,
even say it. They just.
but you're making me get off track. You're making me get off track here. You're making me
No,
get off track here. I had a
this is a
point. I had a
learning
point.
opportunity. This is great.
I, I I already took a French Revolution class, and I know I'm not as good as the guy who taught me that, so I'm not gonna teach you all how to French Revolution. Okay, not even gonna talk to you about that. But they didn't just behead the fucking monarchy; they beheaded members of government all the time for being enemies of the republic. Was it a good system? Fuck no, it wasn't. But goddamn, were they afraid of their people? And that is what all rulers should be. They should be terrified of not living up to their responsibilities. And they are not in this country. And that is why we're in such a shithole. That is why.
I do think that if we did have a more traditional style of government, um, like a monarchy and all that, right? We we could definitely hold the leaders more accountable. It's just I'm not really sure how we would do that
No,
in
that's the
this
opposite. That's the
in this
opposite.
world.
Monarchies don't get held to account. Monarchs don't get held to account at all. But you can't fucking bribe them. They own everything. Every single pound uh, uh, printed in the UK is property of Queen and Country. You know, like, she lives on taxpayer dime all the fucking time. She can say whatever the hell she wants, and the people have to obey. That's that's how monarchy works. Like, you
But I
can't bribe her with anything. She already has it.
it's one of those things though, you read the storybooks, you watch the shows, the movies. The kings and queens that get overthrown are always the ones that are tyrants. right? And then the kings and queens that are beloved are the charitable ones, right? And I feel like it's that sort of difference that really matters when it comes to being a leader, right? A lot of leaders represent certain things that they want to change, right? Here or there, policies or whatever, but nobody is absolutely working for every single issue, right? There's always some issues that'll slip under that are relatively important to the masses, but not quite as important to the leaders in power, right? And I'm not really sure how we get that representation. I don't know.
I'm that's the thing is we can't we, unless we decide to I used to be an incrementalist, right? I used to say like we have to implement policy change through voting, but now the writing's on the fucking wall. Policy change doesn't fucking work. We need
I
There needs to be an active change. There needs to be. We will not be able to achieve the repair of this country unless there is some kind of conflict. It will come to a head. And we're 100 years overdue for a second civil war. We're 100 years overdue for it. It should have come in the 20s. I'm surprised it didn't with the Great Depression starting in 29. I'm surprised it fucking didn't. We're 100 years overdue for it. But
I feel like unless democracy rebounds and
it
people
won't.
really start, getting heard,
They won't.
eventually one day there will be some sort of change in power, whether that's revolution or whatever, right?
There won't be. There won't be. There are no politicians that we can say they're going to actually do something. They're not. They have no incentive to. They have absolutely no incentive to. And we the fact of the matter is that the ones who want to do something are pigeonholed into, oh, he's crazy. We don't like him. He doesn't want to fucking do anything, or he wants to fucking uh uh he wants some radical change. And then the ones that uh and then there are some who are really promising and have managed to be like, okay, like they made some allies, but guess what? They're like the least charismatic people in the fucking world. Bernie Sanders has never passed a goddamn bill in his life. Bernie Sanders has not written a bill that has passed in his entire fucking life, his entire career in the Senate. And then he decides he can't be asked to be a Democrat all the time, but when he wants to leech off the Democrat votes, he'll identify as one for the president. But God forbid he pretend to be one for the rest of the fucking time. No, Bernie Sanders is a piece of shit. We need actual revolutionaries who aren't fucking leeches, who will actually get shit done. But the only way that that's ever going to happen, the only time that there's ever going to be like an actual revolution, is if we let the fucking the enemy shoot at us first. That that that's how the last one started. We let them walk all over us until they finally started shooting at us, and then God bless Abraham Lincoln for saying enough is a fucking enough. God bless him for fucking standing up to them, standing up to those rebel bastards. I think it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. And the Democrats of this country are going to be too soft to actually stand up to those fucking people. That's why I'm saying, hey, everyone on the left in this country needs to buy guns. uh it's not because I think they're great. Would I like to live in a country where we don't need to bear arms? That would be awesome. That would be great. If we could live in a country where guns are fucking antiques, they're collector's items. You don't have to fucking make sure you're stocked up on ammo because the guy next door is some crazy ass Trump supporter. Fuck yeah, I wish we could do that, but we don't live in that country. You think it doesn't break my heart that we have school shootings every fucking day? Yeah, It does. It absolutely fucking does. And I want to live in a country where I can go to sleep at night thinking, okay, my two moms being married, like that won't be undone in a week. That's the United States I want to live in. But we don't live in that place, and we need to fight to live in that place.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that there's only so much we can do, and it's really just one of those things that unless everybody's on board, it's not gonna do much, you know?
No, no, we're gonna get wiped the fuck out. If we're in the
So,
minority, you get killed. If you are in the minority in a military engagement, you will get killed. You will get crushed, ground into dust.
and I know that for myself, and maybe a lot of people are also like this, I've always been a silent supporter of a lot of things. You know, I support it, but I'm not doing much about it, you know? And that's just how I am. And there's probably a lot of other people out there. But definitely, if there's something that's really, really bothering you, you gotta say something. You can't just be silent, right?
Okay, but the problem is, it's not about saying something. Wh-
Or
Look
doing
around.
something,
See what saying something is getting this country.
The point
You know,
is, you gotta
like
do
I
something.
said, like
Right?
I said, like I said.
But before we ramble on for another 40 minutes, is there anything else you'd like to talk about today?
I'm really fired up about this, and I don't want to change the subject
No,
because I
it's
feel like that would
okay.
be doing a disservice to.
But
I feel
I
like that would be doing a disservice to the families who are going through this really tough time right now, and I feel like it's a disservice to it's a disservice to like uh everyone who's in danger right now. You know?
I think there's only so much we can do, but I feel like we both support uh all the families that were a part of the tragedy, a part of other tragedies, and of course we are against it happening again, right? For whatever reason. But I
Yeah.
I don't really
No
know
matter
what all we can do. You know what I mean? That's the thing. There's not
there's
really a lot. Only only a handful of people can do.
there really is. Do you know what your blood type is off the top of your head?
I should, shouldn't I? I don't off the
Yes,
top
you
of my head.
definitely should. We used to.
I
I know
donate
I've
blood
stopped,
so
and I think you've
much.
stopped. Well, you
Actually, you know
you
what?
donate plasma.
I have my birth certificate right next to me. I'll just check real quick.
Birth. I don't think a birth certificate tells you what your blood type is,
It
or at
doesn't.
least
Let me
at least
check.
Virginia ones don't. Virginia ones definitely don't. Texas. I don't think they test you. I don't think they take your blood out to put
Wait,
it on
wait,
your birth
wait.
certificate. No, they
They
wouldn't do
don't?
that.
I feel like
No.
that's.
What the fuck? No.
Let me check. Let's see. Okay. Interesting.
Where did you get that from?
I thought that that's where they put it. Is that a thing?
No, they don't even put it on your driver's license. No, 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 no.
No.
Sometimes I wonder how you like have managed to survive this long. To be honest,
Where would I
because
find that information?
you
Is
can
it
do a
online
rapid.
somewhere?
No, no, not for you. No, you have to
Huh.
actually take a blood test to do it.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
If you don't already know it, it's not going to be online or in your medical records somewhere.
It
You have to
might
actually take a
be.
test to figure it out. I mean,
It,
maybe, but you should
it,
probably know on the top of your head,
I
or off the
don't.
top of your head.
I
Sorry.
don't go to the doctor that often.
then get a rapid at-home test. That goes for all of you, by the way. Everyone get. I'm gonna go get one. I don't know what mine is, but
You
I
don't know
need
what your
to.
blood type is?
No, but I know it's sure as hell not on my birth certificate. It's sure as
Well,
hell not on my
I
birth
figured that
certificate.
out just now. I've looked through the entire thing. Wait, no. I saw little boxes. They were crossed off, but that's what is that?
Sometimes I
No,
wonder about
that's
you,
not
dude.
it.
Sometimes I wonder how you've managed to live
Hmm,
this long.
let's see.
Because I, I really don't get it sometimes.
It's not on here.
Because how long did it take you to start driving? When was that?
Well, that was mostly because a lot of my family was just a little too busy to teach me, and I was a little too lazy to teach myself until I got really tired of waiting.
I
But
just I don't understand.
other
Just like
people, their families are a little bit more available for that sort of thing. And lucky you if you have somebody who can teach you how to drive at an earlier age.
I mean, I guess yeah, you do need someone else to teach you, but like
Yeah, I was missing that someone else to teach me because everybody had their own problems, and I felt like mine were just a little bit less. I was like, do I need to drive? Probably not.
yeah, yeah, yes,
I figured it
yes.
out eventually. Okay, don't worry. I just didn't need to drive at that moment. So I was like, I'll just wait.
You uh mm, mm,
Because in
mm,
theory, I could have learned how to drive when I was in high school. I didn't really need to go anywhere in high school though. So I was like, I'll wait. And then I had a ride for my first job. So I'm like, do I really need to drive? Not really. But eventually, it became harder to go places. And I kind of got tired of asking people for rides.
I I mean, I guess, but like again, at I really don't. I really don't know how one
Who
could
taught
get
you how to
by as long
drive?
as my mother.
That's great for you. My mother, her car was always had something wrong with it, and she was always too busy. So I had to wait until my girlfriend taught me. So that's the situation. My uncles were trying to teach me, but they were living hours away or in different cities, or they were working all the time. So it was kind of hard to get a very, very good amount of experience
Yeah, I
until
guess.
somebody gave me that time.
Hey, I know this bit isn't gonna translate very well to the podcast.
Oh my lord.
Um, Open your messages. Oh
I,
my
ho-
god.
I don't understand.
I'm gonna tweet this on our Twitter account. So I'm gonna make this the pinned tweet.
I
Uh,
don't get the joke. What's the joke?
there is no joke.
There's no joke. You're just laughing at a funny picture.
Yeah.
I
I'm
can't.
gonna this is gonna be the pinned tweet until the next episode comes out. So you guys can see what I'm laughing at. Twitter.com/IIHS podcast, all one word, all lowercase. Um yeah. So this the pin tweet when the podcast goes up is going to be this. You guys can check. You should also follow us, by the way, so that way you can get like updates and stuff. But yeah, again at IIHS podcast or twitter.com/IIHS podcast. But yeah, I got a uh, uh, I got it scheduled. I got it scheduled for 8 a.m. Central on Tuesday when the podcast goes out. You will see. what I sent him, and it's not
It's
even funny.
it's not
It's
even
not
funny.
funny.
It's not fun.
It's
Why are you
really not
laughing so
funny
much? I don't.
because it's more the context of like I just sent it, and also the joke is that it's not funny. I don't want to dissect the joke because when you dissect a frog, the frog dies, and it's kind of similar to that. But like, oh, it's so fucking funny. It's so funny to me. Yeah.
If you say so. Well, let's talk about what you've been up to this week, Nick. What's in the works?
So what I've been up to this week. My sort of pseudo adopted siblings kind of
Hmm.
came to my domicile from what or no, sorry. I'll kind of preface this from like since last week. So last week, um, on Tuesday we recorded the podcast, and then I think Wednesday I had to turn in the final school stuff. And then Thursday, I drove down to my aunt and uncle, and they both went with me. So, sorry, I only shouted out my aunt and my cousin, but my uncle went with me. I
Hmm.
didn't think he was coming, but he did. And we took a trip down to see my cousin's farm, and it was really cool. And we shot a bunch of guns,
Hmm.
and we worked around the farm. It was fucking lit. And then when I came back on Monday, we uh my pseudo adopted siblings were here, and they were kind of yeah. We went to the city. We went to Chicago. Um, I did my classes started. It's a fucking nightmare. I have so many assignments. I honestly shouldn't even be taking the time out to record this podcast, but it's a weekly show, and I gotta put it out there. So yeah, I've been doing that. Oh lord, oh lord. And then yeah, just more school shit. Um oh yeah, I'm really excited about Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Uh it comes out in like 3.5 hours as of this recording. Very excited for that. Um honestly, maybe we should like stop the recording now, and then when it comes out we finish we do an extra recording and we splice them together, and then that would be pretty cool. But
Well,
uh
I don't plan on watching it,
you
but
should. Honestly, you're not missing out on that much.
that's great. I'm not gonna miss out that much by not watching it. I'm sure too, right?
No, go fuck yourself. It's gonna be awesome.
Anyways, I'm excited for the next Marvel show. I don't know how long it'll be until that one comes out. I think it's Miss
June,
Marvel, right? Is the next one
June, June
June?
13th, I think, roughly.
Okay, it's not that far away.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not excited for that one. I'm not. I don't like
I'm
the
one of
space
those.
stuff.
I'm kind of just one of those people though, where because I'm already so deep into it, I just watch it just so I can that way I can just be caught up, you know.
I I'm kind of like
Granted, I won't watch all of the Netflix series just because I feel like that's a little too far and I don't really care that much.
you really should. They're making another season of Daredevil.
But
They announced it.
all the Disney Plus
Oh,
shows
oh
and
yeah.
movies, I've tried my best to watch.
Indiana Jones 5. Indiana Jones 5. Harrison Ford is coming the fuck back. By the way, by the way, Indiana motherfucking Jones motherfucking 5. Fuck yes. I cannot
Nice.
I cannot stress how fucking happy I am about Indiana motherfucking Jones coming back. And it's directed by James Mangold, and James Mangold directed Logan, which is the best character send-off I've ever fucking seen. And if he can do that again with with Indiana Jones, I will cream my jeans. I will absolutely cream my motherfucking jeans if he manages to make Indiana Jones 5 good. Indiana
Also,
Jones 1 through 3 are some of the best movies I've ever seen. Trey, have you seen them?
I think I might have saw like one Indiana Jones movie, and I don't even remember which one.
Did it have aliens in it?
Probably not. That
Okay,
sounds a
good.
little
That's the
strange
bad
for
one.
an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, that's what we
Um,
all said in 2008. And then that movie came out and it was ultra mega AIDS.
I just remember there was a fridge involved, I think.
Oh
Or was
my
that the
god, that
game?
was the bad one. That was the bad one.
That might have
Yes.
been from the game. I can't. I don't. That might not have been the movie because I do remember that was a scene from the game as well. Uh,
Yes, that was the bad one. That
was
was
that the
the
bad one?
really, really, really,
Because
really, really bad
I
one.
yeah, I think I only remember that from the game. I don't. I think the one that I remember was probably just the first one, the classic Indiana Jones. But it's been a long, long time since I watched it, so I don't remember anything except for like the song and that one scene with the boulder, and that's about it.
I
Um,
would say, I would say, it's a good time to get caught up. It's a really good time.
I
I
was
think they're all on
thinking of like some
until
movie
Netflix raises
series that
their prices and puts on ads. I'd say it's a really good time.
I've been like thinking about getting into like a movie series, right? And I was thinking of a couple that sounded pretty interesting. I know that uh I never watched Harry Potter, so I could watch those. I've never
Don't give
watched
J.K. Rowling money. Don't give J.K. Rowling money.
I've never watched the Lord of the
She,
Rings stuff and the Hobbit. I could watch
what
those.
movies have you watched? What
I
fucking movies
I've
do
watched like
you
one
watch?
I've watched like maybe one Pirates movie, so I could catch up on those.
Those are
Um
the first three are very good. The first three are
um
extremely good.
I guess I haven't watched much of Indiana Jones at all in a while.
You haven't seen
I watched
the
Star
only one you
Wars
remember is the bad one.
and I wasn't that impressed by it. It was a decent movie,
You
but
weren't that
I
impressed by it because you don't have the benefit of hindsight. You don't know what movies were like back in 1977. You don't have that context.
look, I understand that I am a spoiled person, spoiled by good graphics,
You
and
are very spoiled by
stellar
good graphics.
storytelling, right? But I feel like the movie was pretty decent. It's just that I've never been into the whole space sci-fi stuff, really. I do like I like fantasy a lot, but I don't like sci-fi as much, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I guess that makes sense. I think you would like The Lord of the Rings. I'm not entirely sure about this new Lord of the Rings show. I'm very much not I'm very cautious about it, but uh
What
like
is that
given what the
one?
Halo show is, given how bad the Halo show is apparently, I'm cautious about Lord of the Rings,
Are you
Rings of
excited for the
Power.
Mario movie voiced by Chris Pratt?
Oh my fucking god! Don't even shut up, shut up, shut up, shut
Ah,
up. Actually,
you're not.
actually, remind me about that in about 20 minutes. Remind
You're
me
about
about that in about 20 minutes. I got something there.
like what's that one show? Oh, it's Game of Thrones. Okay, it's slightly different. I've never watched that one either. That was real popular for a time until I guess they ruined it, is what I've heard. But again, I don't know much about that.
Yes, that is pretty
There's
correct.
there's not a lot of shows that I've watched besides like Disney Plus shows or like anime. So not
Fucking weebs.
not the
Fucking
biggest
weebs.
selection here of shows that I've
Oh god.
watched.
Oh lord.
Speaking of anime, um, yeah, I what's it called? I saw that I what show did I watch recently? I can't remember. I was watching A Kami Got Kill. That's the one recently. That one?
Is that Kill la Kill or is that a different
No,
thing?
Kill the Kill is a good anime though. I recommend it.
I only
If you
like. anime that makes fun of anime because I think anime is really fucking stupid. I think anime is like it everyone overestimates like the target age for anime. Anime is made for fucking babies.
I do
Dragon
have to
Ball Z
say
is made for
that
fucking babies.
anime is written in an easy to consume way, in a way where, unlike regular TV, where so there's like a start and an end, like conclusion to each episode, right? It's kind of like
Mhm.
offset, right? Where the conclusion is at the beginning of the next episode. So there's always that want to click on the next episode.
No, no, because Justice League the Justice League animated show, the first one, was like almost nothing but two-parter episodes.
Well,
There
that's
was
what I'm saying. There's
one-parter.
it's not two-parter episodes. It's like there's like one overarching story, right? Goes through the entire season. And then there's like small, like little like instances that are split between like the halfway point of one episode and like the beginning of the next episode. You know?
Yeah, there are plenty of shows that do that in live action. The problem is that anime was written for babies.
So
There are
sometimes it is a little overdone. People do make fun of like Dragon Ball for doing that quite a lot with like their 40 episode fights, but
One
I don't know.
Piece,
One
Dragon
Piece is
Ball,
also known for it as well. I I don't mind it
uh
too much. I usually watch it in the background just because it's something just more to take my attention away from whatever I'm doing. What because
see
I'm probably doing something boring.
the thing about camp and being ridiculous
Hmm.
is you have to be self-aware about it or you have to be really really talented. And it really helps if you are writing it in the language that it is intended to be. But anime does none of the vast majority of anime does none of those things, right? Like fucking uh uh Death Note. Death Note.
Death Note
Oh
was a
my
pretty decent
god.
one.
No, it is not. The
I
Death Note anime
I
is fucking ridiculous and it has no self-awareness whatsoever.
What do you mean it's ridiculous?
The
Elaborate.
Death Note manga jumps the shark so fast. Jumps the
Okay,
shark
I
so
don't
goddamn fast.
know a lot about manga versus anime. That I don't know about. But the anime for me without reading the manga or without knowing the manga, I thought was still pretty good. It's a pretty decent show. I don't know.
The the voice acting all right, the theme song. I think the best way to understand what's wrong with Death Note is to listen to the fucking theme song
I
cuz it's
usually don't
fucking terrible.
pay attention to the theme songs too much, but Death Notes
It's
I
so
think is
bad.
just like very like
Edgy.
violent screaming,
It's
isn't it?
very it's very edgy. No, 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 no. It's extremely edgy and it's super campy, but they don't understand that they should roll with that. So instead, they've been like, "Oh, we're gonna do spoilers here," but it's like, "Oh, he's so smart that he's gonna wipe his own memory of being the of being Kira, right? He's gonna wipe his own memory of it, so that way he's like, and he's handcuffed to the guy who's like trying to figure out if he's Kira or not, and he's like, oh, he doesn't even remember it, and he's like planned it out so far ahead, right? Like everyone says that fucking Batman is like is like super ridiculous because he has plans for fucking everything. But Jesus fucking Christ, Death
That
Note
that is kind
is
of what Death Note
so
does.
fucking dumb. It is so dumb.
Okay, here's the
And
thing, Nick. I feel like that's very important, right? Is that I've known you for a long time. You're very particular and you're not entertained by this type of media. You have to
no,
understand there's a lot of people out there and I sometimes am like this too, where I just watch things and I don't really care or think about it too much, right? And I feel like that a lot of
okay.
that's a large majority of people. Maybe not everybody, but there's a lot of people like that. But I know that certain
And that's
things
why
for you,
entertainment sucks. That's why
You're
entertainment sucks
you are real particular.
nowadays.
I've tried to show you games and you've been like this. I've tried to show you shows and you've been like this. That's just who you are. But not everybody is going to agree with you. And I feel like for what Death Note was, I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty decent. But I can see
Here,
how that sort of storytelling isn't super satisfying if you want a more intelligent show, right?
here. All right, I'm gonna
But shows
explain
aren't
it.
made for intelligent people. That's the thing.
No, they're not,
That's the
and
whole
that's the
point of
problem.
TV.
That's the problem, right? Like,
I if
here's
you are intelligent, I could see it being a problem, but a lot of people are very satisfied with what they get.
no. I think the problem is, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying before about how everyone's getting stupider, is that here's another better, even better example than Death Note is CW's The Flash. Now the CW is
Hmm.
run by morons. There is not a single intelligent human being at the CW, especially not in their writers' rooms. But the Flash is supposed to be the most intelligent person in DC. His brain can move faster than anyone else's. In terms of raw intelligence, the Flash is smarter than Batman. But at the Flash writing crew, there is not a single brain cell among them. So for the entire show, everyone, everyone in the in Team Flash has the IQ of a rotten carrot. Okay, he's an idiot. I
I
don't think that if you're going to write a show about a superhero, don't pick one that has so high of an IQ that he can absolutely dwarf your own. Don't do that unless you know, like you've got a huge group of writers who like their only job is to be like, wait, no, that's stupid. He wouldn't do that. Like unless you've got so many people constantly fucking nitpicking and being like, no, the hero's really stupid. He wouldn't do that. I don't care if villains do stupid shit. That's the point of media, right? Like, oh, the villain's plan isn't gonna work. It's really stupid. Yeah, no shit. That's why the villains lose. That's the whole fucking point. But the problem is that is when dipshit heroes forget that they have fucking super speed or super smarts, right? That's the problem.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying, right? And I feel like maybe, this is something you also will agree with, right? But, there was a time, a long time ago, where TV was a lot more like a little bit more intelligent the way they would write it, and it didn't like pander towards like certain audiences, and it didn't like try its best to please everybody, right? It was what it was, and that was fine. One example that I noticed is if you've ever watched like the old like TV show for like Ninja Turtles or Spider-Man, right? And you've ever compared them to like the new modern versions of those shows, you can tell like now they have a lot more slapstick humor. It's a lot less thought out, everything's kind of softened and just gotten dumber, right?
No, I think TV's gotten smarter. I think TV's gotten way more conceptual.
Well, maybe it's
Uh,
just because those heroes have gotten, maybe pander towards younger audiences. That's maybe
yeah,
what
I think you're I think
I think
you're
that's
looking at the wrong fucking. That is the worst comparison I think you could possibly make.
well,
Is
not everything, but I was saying like that isn't something I've noticed is that whenever I look at these shows that I really liked and I look at the old like shows, right? Um, I think that they still hold up pretty well today, right? But the new shows are like so bad in comparison, right? And
I think you're looking at children's shows, and I think
I don't know.
that's
It's
wrong.
not. That's the thing. Like, why do these things have to be turned into children's shows, though? Right? They're not
Because comic books are made for children. That's the
that's
point.
not technically true. I don't
They
think.
are. They are. There's a reason why the Comics Code Authority banned literally any kind of murder or basically any crime other than fucking bank robbery. Because it's for 6-year-olds. Batman
Well,
is a comic for 6-year-olds. You can
maybe
and
that's the problem. Is
you
that
can admit to enjoying it as much as you want, right? Like I fucking love the comics, but I can admit that they are for fucking 7 to 14. That is the target audience. 7 to 14-year-old boys. That's it. That's
yeah, but
why
I feel
yeah,
like I feel like shows like that though can be written in such a way that it like allows all ages to enjoy it, right? And I feel
maybe
like the older show, like the old Spider-Man one, the old Ninja Turtle one, they were written in such a way where, again, all ages could enjoy it because there was a decent story, there was a decent flow to how things went. But nowadays, shows are only pandered towards super duper young audiences, which I feel like those type
I
of shows are
again,
which is a little sad because again, I would definitely not mind a good show that I could enjoy like that, but unfortunately
I
not.
think I think again, you're thinking about it all wrong. I think adult television like uh yeah, adult television has gotten way fucking smarter, I would say. You know? Like
Mm, I
you know,
I do think that children's television could be a little bit smarter though, right? Because
but that's not the ish that's not what we're
that
what the
is that.
that's not the majority of television though. The majority of television is for adults. And I would say, yeah, cable is absolutely brain dead. There's nothing good on cable anymore. But everything that's streaming used to be getting smarter. You know, in the 2010s, from 2010 onward, we were in the golden age of television. Now maybe we're a little bit further off, but starting in like the late ooze to the
Really
2010s,
ooze.
yeah, we were doing super well. I would say the first the first wave of television becoming a lot smarter was in 2006 with 30 Rock. 30 Rock is a really smart show. And then after that, it was Community. And Community is a very smart show. Community goes crazy,
I did
especially the
like
second
Community a
season.
lot.
Yeah,
Community was one of my favorites.
Community ushered in the golden age of television. And then Breaking Bad, uh, Game of Thrones, uh, and then Netflix started coming out with Netflix original shows. BoJack Horseman, fucking Daredevil, Jessica Jones, really fucking solid shows, really solid superhero shows. I've heard nothing but good things about Legion on FX. Uh, that's another superhero show. That's another Marvel superhero show. Technically, it's the Fox universe, so like
Did
the
you ever
mutants and
watch
shit.
that one show? I heard about it a while ago. It was an Amazon show. I think it was called The Boys or something like that.
Oh, The Boys,
The
that started in the late
Boys.
2010s. Very good. Oh, yeah, the first season of Stranger Things was, maybe it's not like the smartest show, but goddamn if like the banter and the characters weren't really solid. You know, it was all very, very good. And I don't think we've really left the golden age that much. I'm sure the Stranger Things season that's coming out in like what tomorrow, same as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, that's not gonna be great, but it's something. It's better than some fucking piece of shit old shows from back in the 2010s, and it's a damn sight better than whatever's on cable right now. Fucking This
I
Is
have to
Us. I
say,
swear to God,
cable
This Is
is kind
Us
of falling
is.
behind, and I really think that cable should just kind of be rid of, because
It's
cable's really
because
it's a dying industry, really, with streaming being such a big thing compared to what it was before.
Well, no, streaming is about to fuck us just like cable did. I think people are gonna
Yeah,
switch back to cable. Honestly, like what the fuck is what's the fucking difference? If Netflix is gonna start running ad segments on there, even with a paid fucking subscription, the dumbest decision anyone's ever made, and I hope the
it
Netflix
is
stocks fucking
bad.
plummet like a bomb dropped from a B-52. Jesus fucking Christ, what a stupid inane fucking idea. What genuine morons work at Netflix? I swear to God.
Yeah,
Just complete idiots. The Netflix management team are just complete fucking morons.
no, I don't buy Netflix, right? But I've
Yeah,
heard that the way that Netflix package does their packages, right, is like prehistoric to what it really should be, and they do it by what quality you want to watch. I'm not
I
sure
don't
if
know.
that's
I don't
you,
pay for
you
my own
also don't buy
Netflix.
your own Netflix. Well, that's what I
No.
heard. I heard that the plans start really cheap and it goes all the way down to 480p as like the
Yeah,
lowest quality you can buy. And I
yeah.
think that's just a really bad way to have a subscription plan. I think it should be per devices like everybody else is doing, right?
Well,
But
now
they're
it's gonna
like
be now that they are doing a per device thing, which is bad because they're cracking down on people sharing their Netflix. Because that was the one good thing about Netflix is you could fucking share it between devices. You could have one Netflix account, but like all your cousins and grandma and grandpa could have their own fucking Netflix accounts. But now they're cracking down on that because they're stupid and they don't understand that nobody likes this and nobody's going to stand for this. And this is what killed cable. Adding in a bunch of dumb bullshit costs for no particular reason other than we need money. I think Netflix is fucked. Maybe if they put some more, maybe if they invested in some better fucking properties, they could actually, do something. But as it stands, the only original fucking show that they have that has any decent fucking track record that people know about is Stranger Things, and or like that's the only one that's still going. BoJack Horseman was a goddamn classic. BoJack Horseman is the greatest animated show of all time, but it ended, and they can't. BoJack Horseman is not something that you can drag on forever. BoJack Horseman ended when it ended, and it has a perfect ending. It is again the greatest animated show of all time.
like I've noticed that for me, I don't know about the other people who use the Netflix that I have, but for me, I like rarely go on Netflix anymore. It's starting to become one of those things where there's nothing to watch on Netflix. It used to be you can go on Netflix and find something to watch almost like really quickly, right?
Because
And
there are
now,
all these new streaming services and
yeah,
they're buying back their old properties that used to be on Netflix.
I noticed that
HBO bought back all their shit.
the one that I've using the most right now has been Hulu. Hulu's the one I've been switching over to a little bit more. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Hulu has a lot of the old shows that I really like. I don't like any of their originals. Good dear
I
God, I
don't know about their originals, but
there's one with Amanda Seyfried as Elizabeth Holmes, the lady who was doing Theranos. I heard that one was good, but it has fucking uh uh the guy who could only make one face from 13 Reasons Why. Dylan Minnette.
uh,
Dylan Minnette.
the one who played the main character,
Yes, Dylan Minnette. He could only make one face.
he did only have like
Huh?
one expression that I noticed.
Yeah, it's the I know I can't show you guys at the podcast, but I'm gonna make a sound and you guys are gonna understand it. Just a
Wait,
mouth
let me
open,
let's go to
eyes blank,
images. Let's see if we
just
can. You know what? It is silly how fast I just went to images and I could find the picture exactly. It's
yeah,
like on it's right there on
he
the
has
second
one
row,
fucking
right there.
face. All right. And with the untalented actors thing, we're gonna move on to my big red button question.
Sure,
Okay?
sure. I think. he did an all right job. I watched all 4 seasons, so
I would. There's a reason they put the warning in there about, oh, this will make you want to kill yourself. Yeah, cuz it's
I don't
bad.
think they said it'll make you want to kill you. That's not how they worded it. All right.
It did. It caused a bunch of suicides.
I don't
And
think it caused a bunch of
it
suicides.
did.
If
It
it did, I
literally
didn't know
did.
about it.
They got
Right.
I think they might have gotten sued about it.
That's
If they
literally why the
didn't,
warning's there. Why would they?
the first season caused a bunch of suicides, and then they were like, "Oh shit, we got to put in a warning real quick so we don't get our asses sued." So they did. Yeah, it caused a bunch of suicides, if I recall correctly. But
I
but
liked the show. I thought it was all right, but that's
you
just
have
because
bad
again,
taste
I'm very
because you
easily
have bad taste.
entertained.
That's
I'm
called having bad taste.
I don't think about it, right? Because I'm easily entertained, it makes it so much easier to find things to watch. So much
If you're
easier.
easily entertained, I don't understand why you were like, "Oh yeah, Star Wars is just okay," you know.
It's
It's
because
literally
it's
the most
it's a
revolutionary
little
thing in the universe.
it's a little too slow, I think, is the problem.
No, that was a. I don't think you understand. That was lightning fast for when it came out.
For when it came
2001.
out is the
Okay,
important
2001: A
part.
Space Odyssey came out like 10 years earlier, right?
You know,
2001: A
I
Space Odyssey came
I
out 10
haven't
years
watched that
earlier.
one either.
Don't.
Mm.
It's really boring. It sucks. 2001: A Space Odyssey is really boring. I'm
Okay, well,
sorry, Stanley.
before we
I'm
rant too
sorry,
long,
Stanley Kubrick,
let's
but
let's
your
get a
movie
nice
sucks.
let's get a nice question in here. I'm excited to see what you have for us today.
Okay, you get a movie made about your life, but
Okay.
you are played by the most uncharismatic, terrible actor you can think of, and whatever terrible means to you. For me, it would be uh like Dylan Minnette uh from 13 Reasons Why, or maybe, ooh, what is the worst performance I've seen recently? Maybe like Bruce Willis in some of his later movies. Like, no disrespect to the guy, I know he had like a health issue that he was battling for like years and years before he decided to retire, and he was making all those shitty movies. But like, yeah, like one of those. Like, just, it's really, really just like it makes you look terrible. Like
Okay.
your life is just associated with that. Oh my god! All right, no, no,
What's
no,
the
no. It's
what's where's
perfect.
what's the benefit exactly?
Here's the perfect example, right? John Gotti in the movie Gotti, with John Travolta playing John Gotti. That was a terrible performance and a terrible movie. So you get your life immortalized for forever, but you are permanently attached to like the worst acting performance ever. Like it's
I
terrible.
I have to say that this question is really easy for me because I don't care to have my life immortalized that much. And it seems like it's all downsides and the only upside I don't care about. So it's probably not going to happen for me, I don't think.
I don't know. I think it would be cool to be remembered, honestly.
I think it would be
Like,
cool to be remembered, but what's that going to do for me? I'm going to be gone. People are going to remember me. It's not going to affect me in any way, you know? It just being remembered is always one of those things that's never really appealed to me because I'm like, how does that help me or anybody else? It doesn't at all. And I don't know. It just seems
but
silly.
but but
now now
I don't
let's
know.
let's
I think
say
that would be nice, right? Like, I think it would be pretty cool to be like, hey, they
now
made a movie about me. They'd be like, oh wow, that sucks. But still, how many
there
motherfuckers get a movie made about them? How many?
there look, there's more conditions that would have to be in place before I would even think about clicking this button, right? If the
All right. What?
conditions had to do with like I would get a lot of money or is this like after you're dead or is this while you're alive? That's another important
This
distinction, I
is
feel like.
this is while you're alive.
Okay.
So like a
See if it's
Captain Phillips, right?
okay.
Like
So
cuz
see
the
if
captain was alive for that.
okay. So if it's while I'm alive, right,
Yeah.
and I got a ton of money, then sure, go for it. I
How
don't care.
much money? All right, all right. What is the worst actor you can think of? And then
I
tell me
can't
how much
think
money it
of
would be.
that many bad actors.
Like
What's a movie
uh
that you think that I would have seen that had a bad actor in it?
I
That's
don't know if you've ever actually watched a movie before. That's the thing. I don't think you've ever watched a movie. Eternals. All right, all right. Anyone in Eternals. They were all terrible.
Eternal.
It is
You
a
know,
fucking fluke that Chloe Zhao won Best Director at that Oscars.
I
It is
didn't
a
I didn't mind
fucking
the I
fluke.
didn't mind that movie though.
But the performances were all really bad. Cersei, in particular, was just the most emotionless, just.
I thought that was just her character. I don't know.
Yeah, her character, her one personality trait is boring.
And
Um,
does the actor have to be like the same ethnicity as me, or does it not matter? Is it just like a
you don't really,
miscast?
you don't really have an ethnicity, Trey. You could be played by anyone.
I do have some ethnicity. You know what I mean? I feel like I can't be played by somebody who is just completely the wrong ethnicity, right?
Oscar Isaac could play you, and I wouldn't object to it, cause
Who's who's
you're
Oscar
actually a little
Isaac?
bit darker than fucking Moon Knight, you idiot.
Oh God, this is
you
embarrassing.
you you fucking Jesus Christ.
We are about
Jesus
the same. We are
Christ.
about the same skin tone, so
He's
maybe.
lighter than you. He is lighter than you.
What pictures have
Fucking
you seen of me? Re-
many. You are very dark.
let me look at my pictures of me. I haven't maybe I haven't seen myself in a while.
You have a lot darker skin than you realize, my man.
Okay, I don't have that dark of skin.
I just pulled it up right now.
Yeah, we're a similar skin tone. I feel like it depends if I've
It depends
tanned or
on the
not,
lighting. It depends on the
and the
lighting,
lighting
but
too.
no.
Yeah,
But no, you are more bronze than he is.
I don't
But
know.
also, your new Instagram bio is fucking cringe.
What is my new Instagram bio? I haven't now. I need to go check my bio. I haven't changed it in like absolutely forever.
No, Oscar
Oh
Isaac is
my
lighter
God!
than you.
Somebody changed my bio. What? How did that happen? Oh my Lord! I'm mad now. This is gonna be a
No,
problem.
no, no, shut up. That is yours. You made
No, no,
that.
no. I'm definitely that's definitely not my bio. I don't know who changed it, but now I'm upset.
All right, all right, all right. But
That was
again, all
under
right.
the website area. Obviously, I feel like somebody has been on my Insta. Okay, this is gonna be a problem.
Fuck, what is a bad performance that I know you've seen? Because the MCU doesn't really have bad performances. The MCU doesn't have bad performances. You haven't watched the Star Wars
I
prequels.
think you need to understand this, Nick. You can think of any bad performance you want. It doesn't matter as long as I get paid.
So, all right, all right. What is the all right, from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being they're a literal robot, 10 being 13 Oscars for the movie. How good does your like what would you want to be paid per point from 10 to 1, right? So like while you go down in acting rating, you go up in money. What is the price per point of quality? So to
Well,
go from a 10 to a 9, how much money would you want?
what does like an average movie make? Like not like a super duper popular one, like a very average movie.
Um,
Like what's an average movie that came out? Like it's hard
let
to
me think, right? Let me think.
okay.
Um,
Um okay.
um,
They
complete
only make a
movies.
couple they only make a couple million, right?
I got to think about like here. All right, full movie release, theater release calendar. The Fight, Rebuilding Paradise. No, these are showing me some fucking terrible movies. Um,
And how much movies do like direct to like a streaming platform make? They probably make a lot less, right?
yeah. All right. I'm gonna see what
It's like a good
um
deal from Netflix or something. I don't know.
what did Death on the Nile. Death on the Nile. Let's see what that made.
Death on the Nile. Is that like a recent one?
Yes.
I've definitely never heard of that. So I can...
Of course you haven't heard of it, Trey. You haven't heard of anything. So, all right.
It has
This lost
Gal
money.
Gadot though.
This lost money.
What about Uncharted? Uncharted probably wasn't that big of a movie, right?
No. All right. So here's a general rule about movie making that I've heard time and time again is that you get the budget and then you do about one and a half to double the budget is what it's spent on like marketing for the
Mm-hmm.
movie, and that's how much money total was spent. So the budget was 90 million, which means if you doubled that, which is the rule of thumb, it would be about 180 million to 200 million would be like good returns for the movie, right? The box office was
Okay.
137.3 million, so it didn't make that much money.
You know what movie I just thought of? That was a very average movie. Marriage Story.
No, that was on Netflix,
What? Oh, that was
and
on
it was an art
Netflix.
film. Yeah. All right. So, all right. Uncharted did make money. So, Uncharted had a
Which-
budget of 120 million.
Okay.
So that means they roughly spent like 225 to 240 million on like in total, and it made 400.8 million.
Okay. Well,
Granted, this was an action movie, so
this movie probably is like on the high end of what I would expect for like a movie that we made. I feel like the budget probably wouldn't have to be that big, right? I would assume not. I don't know
no.
how extensive my life story is gonna be, but
All right.
the
So
budget probably wouldn't be that big.
say it's just like a Captain Phillips or like a Sully or something like that, right? Like it's a like you do something special and you just kind of you get you get a movie made after you, and then yeah
Okay.
uh
Um,
yeah like by the end how much money would you have to make for it to be like a really shitty actor?
let's think. Let's considering that I don't have to do anything except just let them make a movie about me. That definitely helps because it's pretty much just
You
free money at
won't
that
get
point.
paid. No, I don't think they pay you.
Well, they would have to pay me.
They don't. That's not true. Um,
Well, but
like you could
but
write down your story in a nonfiction book, but like you can't. It is my understanding that you can't copyright facts. You can't copyright, say, World War II. You can't copyright
I
a
just
map.
it's one of those things, right? Where it seems like if I was to click this button, I would have to get paid, right?
But you can't get paid. I'm pretty sure they don't pay you.
But okay, so then I'm not gonna click the button then. I feel like we had this whole talk about this whole thing. Why even talk about it? I'm just not gonna click the button at that point. I don't know.
Mm,
I don't see benefit. If I was to get paid like a decent amount of money, I don't know, several million, you know, sure, make a movie. But otherwise, probably not. No, I think that's my stance on it.
um,
What's your stance? because I don't want to go on too much longer.
I need to see if they actually do get paid. I don't think they do though. Again, it's a story. It's a true
W-
story. They can't really pay
What's
for it.
that one? What's that one movie? Let me think. The Pursuit of Happiness. Wasn't that like based off of a real story?
I don't know, and I don't think so. But
No, no, I'm pretty sure it was. Let me make sure.
Trey, you haven't seen like any movies. I do not trust any of your
Wait,
opinions on
wait.
movies at
No, no,
all.
wait. No, a screenplay is based on the best-selling 2006 memoir of the same name. See, it's based off of. It
Wow.
says
Wow.
based off
You
of
got it right.
See, it's based off of a story that somebody wrote about their own life. See,
Yes, but a
see, there you go.
true famous news story you cannot copyright. That is so you can't make money on it. So,
Did he make money? The real question.
I don't maybe because they used a novel, but like if it's like a famous event, again, you can't copyright it. So, you're just getting paid with notoriety. And I would say that if I got a film on the quality of Gotti, right? Like with that performance of me, I think I would still take it because people would be like, because people might, you know, like want to like look me up and like interview me and be like, oh wow, how do you like this movie? Oh, I thought it fucking sucked. But yeah, I would push the button. I would push the button, and I think should we leave it there?
Sure.
All right.
Why
I've been
not?
I've
Um,
been incredibly influential.
and I've been highly successful,
We'll
I
see you guys.
suppose.
We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening.